Good afternoon, my name is Evan Davis, and I hope you add some music to your day.
Add some music, just add some music.
Today, we're going to be tackling how I make music. Essentially, I focus primarily on vocals, doing ranges, sort of doing all the parts myself, recreating things, and I do this by ear. Fair warning, I have no formal training. The best I can do, I can read maybe an octave and a half of sheet music, very simply for a piano. Nothing professional, wasn't professionally taught, just sang in school, and I do it as a hobby. So without further ado, let's recreate a song called TM by Charles Lloyd. I'm going to be recreating some of it, maybe layering on top of it. I'm working on a video about Transcendental Meditation by the Beach Boys, their involvement with it, and sort of some of the music they provided, and want to make a track that's sort of is going to be played as I meditate, just to have something interesting going on. So without further ado, let's make some tunes. We are in Audacity. This is a free recording program. And again, as I said, I don't do anything very professional. So we're just going by the free stuff. We're just kind of layering some vocals. So the first step, I downloaded the song from just a very easy YouTube to MP3 website. And it's very helpful, of course, to be familiar with whatever you're trying to do when you're recreating it. So essentially, all I'm going to do is just play a little bit of it, and I'm going to kind of recreate it. So to start off, I like to think about music in terms of blocks. And so essentially, I think about like a 4-block progression is essentially, that's where it's going to repeat, right? And then when you can take that down to 2 or 1, and then that sort of is how you stack harmonies on top of each other in my mind, right? The first thing I'm going to do is sort of the very basic TM that kind of repeats throughout the entire song. And I'll do that a minimum of 4 times, and then later on I'll say, okay, well on the second and the fourth TM, the second and fourth block essentially, that's when the do 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 comes in, right? And that's how it stacks in my mind. That's how we sort of built these things together. And of course, because you're doing the 4, it also makes it easier to loop instead of sitting here and just saying, TM 30 times in a row or whatever. Throw a track on there, and we're going to sing. EM, TM. Alright, now this is essentially just going to be sort of the bass line we're going at. I have the microphone a little farther away because it comes across very loud in the screen recording. I'm going to go back and do this professionally later. So essentially, what I would do is I sort of listen back to that. I think, okay, is that a good take or not? And because I'm just building on top of myself, essentially all we're going to do is add another track and sing on top of that. So I'm essentially going to be doing another 4, but it's going to repeat on the 2, right? So it's going to be, do 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 do, something like that, right? We're trying to get starting at a higher register, because I like to go from either bottom up or top down once you have sort of that lead done. And because I primarily focus on the falsetto, we're going to go sort of top down and sort of build this out. So, do 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 do. All right, and again, later on, we can repeat that if we want. I'm going to take that because I was talking in the middle of that. And I actually probably just snipped a little bit too much off of there. It's going to be okay. This isn't the professional version. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to do another higher register one, except for saying Jai Guru Dev, which is sort of a mantra within Transcendental Meditation. And that's essentially going to help double track. Well, also, it's a different take, so it's going to be slightly different. So that sort of builds out the layers as well. And that's sort of what makes these things interesting. Now, I don't want that to be solo. I just want the top to be muted. So that way I can hear everything as it comes together, and that'll help me sort of take a look at what needs to go down, what needs to go up, etc. So let's record another take. Jai Guru Dev, Jai Guru Dev. Now we're gonna go down a little bit. It's not in the actual version of the song, but I kind of want to back to that idea of double tracking on the TM in a very similar way. I kind of want to do that as transcendental meditation, the whole phrase there. And so transcendental will be 2, and then meditation will be the other 2 if we're thinking about the blocks again in that metaphor. Transcendental meditation, transcendental meditation. So as you can tell, a lot of these takes we've been doing, they're very similar as well. They're kind of at the same melody there. So now we're going to sort of build in a bit of a counter melody as well. And in my mind, that's in the original version of the song. There's this really interesting, on some of the takes where it goes TM, and so I want to combine that with also going a bit lower, TM, TM, and we might not hold that extra M. We'll find out what sounds good in the professional version, but this is just a interesting little take for now. So let's see how this comes out. TM, TMM, 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 TM. So now we're going to sort of play that all together, and I'll let you listen in to exactly how that sounds. TM, 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 TM. So I think that's interesting. But of course, there's a couple things to tweak, right? Number one, the setup we're working with, we're picking up a lot of background noise. So very simply, and let's zoom in here if we can, please. That's not the right button. Zoom in a bit here if we can. We're going to sort of take this. We're going to go to Effect, Noise Reduction, get an idea for it, and then if we, I just did a, double click to select all, Control R repeats. That's going to get rid of a lot of the background noise. Now sometimes I'll go in here and if I need to, delete maybe a clicking noise or a breath just by selecting that and then going Generate Silence. Now we're going to sort of repeat this noise reduction on each thing. I would do a Control A and a noise reduction. However, the first track, which is the actual music itself, is going to be selected. So now it's sounding a little bit better, but it's not there yet. Obviously now we're going to come in, we're going to sort of listen in and what things are kind of standing out. Now to my ear, the TM is standing out a bit, so I'm just going to kind of come down to it, and we're just gonna take it down. It's that simple. Now that's sounding a little bit better to me. Now, just for the purposes of this video, I'm going to come in and sort of just trim out these little bits at the end here, and that's probably where some clicking noises are coming in, because that's where I've been clicking the end record button. Now I'm going to save this for the video, and I also just realized the reason it also sounds kind of crap is I've been recording off of the webcam most of this time, so whoopsie. So I'm going to export that out, and then I'm going to record it for real, and we'll see sort of how that listens. After I go through a lot of the editing process as well, I like to come in as well and do a an effect, and then reverb. And that's, of course, going to make it sound a little bit more professional, help you out. If there's more things in the arrangement I think are going to need a little help, I'm going to double track. And if I double track on the exact same thing, one of the things that helps is to do a little pan. You offset maybe 10-20% one direction, 10-20% in the other, and that also builds up layers to it. And so at the end, we really want this to be layered, we want it to be differing, and well, let's see how it turns out.
TM, 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 TM,
I think that was pretty successful. I kind of just went back, recorded it on the better microphone this time, the proper one. Did some of the same tricks I was talking about. Decided to alter the arrangement a little bit. I decided, went back, I double tracked on the initial sort of lead in that TM, double tracked that, and I think it gives it a really cool sort of like a hypnotic feel, the way it kind of drones on. I think it's interesting. And while it's a little bit long, it gives it time to sort of build up over time, right, as you add in those different layers, which I think is sort of the point of this exercise, right? But this is how I go about the layers, and so the thing you hear reflects that as well, which I think is fun. And ultimately, this wasn't a very serious project either. This is just something that's essentially going to be in the background of a future video coming out where I'm going to practice a little bit of transcendental meditation. So, it doesn't need to be the best thing in the world, but, I still think it's fun. And of course, it's always nice to be able to sit down and do something, to create something. And with that, I hope you take some of this advice to heart. I've been Evan Davis, and please add a little more music to your day.
Smile, it's another new day, and just smile, let your cares roll away, and so smile, I'd love to see